from the Las Vegas studio on the Strip. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I'm Brad Stein. Welcome to BettorCenter Live. You can watch us daily, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on LouisDiamond.com. Also, check out YouTube at Louis Diamond. We have count them, five pro handicappers from all over the globe, from right here in Las Vegas to Arizona to the East Coast, Midwest, everywhere. Going to help us make a little bit of money. Yesterday, overall, our cappers had a rough day. It was our first losing day, but Del Warfield got the big W, saved us. Congratulations over there. Today, it's all about football. We're going to talk about college football, NFL. We're going to get picks and maybe a little Major League Baseball. And plus, later, our handicappers, of course, will give you their most interesting play of the day. Let's bring in our three resident handicappers to the show, Tony G, Louis D, and Del Warfield. Del, since you won, you got the big W. Take your bow. Wow. I guess nothing else to add. Tony, what happened? You were so hot, Tony. I mean, that's all we kept talking about the last several shows, and you got the L. Better luck next time. Okay.
Right. It was Houston. They left plenty of chances on the bases early in the game and didn't capitalize on the chances as a 4-2 baseball loss. Have to take them occasionally. Did come through both plays in the NBA. I did like the Heat. That was my best NBA play. They finished the series with the Bucks as expected, and also got a win with the Lakers. A little tougher time with the Rockets, but in the end, they were able to push through, showed their strength, a lot of muscle. LeBron flexed his muscles, and the role players really contributed well. Lakers take a 2-1 series lead there. But like I say, the most interesting play of the day, I want to come through with a winner today. So stay tuned later in the show, and I'll get that to you. Thanks, Brad.
Oh, you're welcome. And I hope those glasses give you luck today on the most interesting play of the day. But let's start with game number one, college football. UL Monroe at Army. Louis Diamond, we're going to start with you. What are your thoughts and opinions?
Okay, so UL Monroe and Army. Army's playing their second game after a big blowout from Tony last week. So nice call on that. And will they be able to put it back to back is a big question for Army, because Army has not been a covering monster. But early in the season, they are 6-1-1 in their last 8 September games. But when they get into non-conference games, they are only 3-7. But quite the big game last week. So, I got to lean towards Army on the game, but it's going to be tough for them to they're either going to blow them out again, or they're going to be a little bit flat from that game. But I bet that they're probably going to parlay that win.
Del, Army at home. Who do you like?
Good morning, Brad. For this game, a little bit too much points for me there. Something that was pretty interesting, though, on the total. I think 94% of the bets right now are on the under for this game. It's sitting at 54.5. Might be worth considering on the over. It's really hard to take an over with such a run-heavy team like that, but I am starting to look at it. I have to figure out a little bit more about UL Monroe, kind of how they play too, but my initial lean is going to be on this over, but I don't like this. I'm initially leaning on that over.
Tony, you always have something to say, and I know you like Army. You like the discipline.
Well, last week I liked Army against a team that had no clue as to what kind of offense they were going to see. But this is a completely different scenario. Last week the spread was 3.5. This week it's 19. 19. Little Paul Hardcastle from the 1980s there. But I think that's going to be a little too big a boat to float for Army. I'm very skeptical. It goes back into the perception, the psychological portion of sports gambling. This is a perfect example of that. Army crushed these guys. I mean, they beat Middle Tennessee into the dirt. If you watch that game, you thought you were watching a top 10 team play last week. Okay? That was perception. In reality, Army's just another mediocre team. At the end of when all the dust settles at the end of the year, they're probably going to be right in the middle of the pack at best. So with that thought process, everyone's going to, even the line's going to be inflated based solely on what they saw last week, not whether or not, not taking into consideration how the lack of preparation for Middle Tennessee. None of that is being considered. That you just go by what you saw, a massive blowout. So my first gut instinct would be to take the points here, but I'm not ready to jump on a play. But certainly be careful taking Army based on what you saw in the last game. That's the worst mistake you can make.
19 points is a lot of points. Let's move to game number 2 in college football. We have Georgia Tech at Florida State University. Oh, Tony, go ahead.
All right, well, let's get a little information here. I'm assuming this game is in Tallahassee. Yes, it is. Wow. You just try to get a feel for what's going to happen in these games, man. There's so many. These guys know each other, okay? This is an ACC game. Everybody's seen this Paul Johnson running attack. If they get you on your heels, you're in trouble, okay? I don't care how good the teams are. If Georgia Tech ever can get a little bit ahead and get that running game going, I've seen them put teams on their heels, good teams, and win games they shouldn't win. I'm not sure I think that's the case here, but I'll tell you what, that 12 points makes me pause. I'm looking at the last time these two teams have played, it was 2015, so it's been a while, okay? So it's been a minute since the Seminoles have taken on this attack, and Georgia Tech won that game 22-16. My gut instinct would say stay away for now, but be looking to Georgia Tech if you're going to make a play here. Don't always take the easy, what appears to be the easier side, which would be Florida State at home. Be careful on this one also.
All right, be nice here, Louis Bag of Diamonds, because this was supposed to be my alma mater, but the dorms had a foul scent, so I never made my way to Tallahassee.
Oh. Well, that's all right. I will. I'll be somewhat kind. I'm agreeing with Tony here with Georgia Tech and the points on a lean, but I think I like it a little bit more than a lean. You look at this Florida State team; they're only expected to be a middle of the road team this season, and they're facing a wishbone that's going to be able to keep the game at their pace. I don't see Florida State being able to outpace them. I think the 12 points is going to be too many. Yes, they haven't played in a while, but every time they have played, it's never been much more than a 5-point game. So I think the competition that they both play is fairly competitive for each other. So I got to grab the points in this matchup.
I understand. Great information from both of you. Del, do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I definitely agree there with Loule Diamond and Tony. So for this game, it's a little, it's really unpredictable to kind of follow a Georgia Tech team. They could be really good with that option attack, or it could really be a bust. FSU's defense is probably going to be the main thing that they're going to be leaning on this year. I don't really see very much offensive production coming out of FSU. I lean towards the under here. I think it opened up at 54.5 down to 52.5 now. So with the rushing game like that, with the very mediocre FSU offensive game, I'm leaning towards the under here at 52.5. I believe I saw it at this morning.
All right, guys. Game 3, Arkansas State at Kansas State. Del, we're going to start with you. Are you going to play or are you going to pass?
I feel like I keep riding on these unders. So Arkansas State, so they just played against Memphis, right? And they put up 61 points together, Memphis and Arkansas State. They had like 900 plus yards total in the game. But I think coming into Kansas State, it's going to be way different than playing against a Memphis team. Kansas State's going to have that pro-style offense, running game, good solids. Their offensive line is as bulky as they've ever been this year. I see it's more so as a run-centered game. Going towards the under again on this game is going to be my lean. I don't really like a side here. I'm just going to be leaning on the under for this game as well.
The Diamonds of Louis, what information do you have for us?
Well, I have a tough time not betting Kansas State almost every single week, some way, somehow, some form, mainly because it's been obvious during the Bill Snyder era. He played to win and cover for his alumni. It's very obvious. So I believe that trend is going to continue. When they have that opportunity to cover, Kansas State will cover. And I think they'll have this opportunity here tomorrow. On Saturday. Last season, they did well against the spread without the new Kansas State. I expect it to continue, so I think this is a good spot. I like Kansas State, especially at home when they have the ability to cover that game for their alumni.
Tony, I know you have something different to say. You're itching to say it. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to – it's a perfect perception play again to go against Arkansas State. I'm not ready to fire on Kansas State, but I got a feeling this will definitely be a play for me this week. Arkansas State, late, almost the backdoor cover scenario. They beat Vegas expectations. They were getting 18, lost by less than 13, I believe, was the final deficit last week. But I think Dale mentioned the pro-style offense. That's going to be key here. Now they're playing a team that's going to spread you out a little bit more. It's not as conservative a style. I just think the pounding they're going to take from a Big 12 offensive line on the defense. I think Arkansas State's defense is what's going to ultimately be what gets Kansas State to cover. I'm not quite ready to fire, but I'm pretty much agreeing with these guys here. I think I'm going to be betting Kansas State this weekend.
Good job. All right, let's move over to the National Football League. In game number 4, we have the Raiders at the Panthers. Tony, you may start.
Okay, well, this is the one I look at the spread. I go back, look at the spread again. I feel like I'm being messed with here. Why are the Raiders road favorites at Carolina? I get now that home field is going to be limited based, we don't even know what effect that's going to have on these games yet. I have a feeling what the effect will be, but I have to actually see it here in week 1 before I can start handicapping based on it. But the Panthers, lost Cam Newton. They brought in Teddy Bridgewater, okay? So you're expecting more of a game manager. He has some skill players, McCaffrey and DJ Moore. But I did note, I've talked about this game being from Charlotte, got a lot of conversation in on this game. Just feel that for whatever reason at this point, they're giving the Raiders a little too much credit. Even if you're dumping on Carolina and don't expect them to have a good season, these are the games they would even win in a 4-12 season, a home game against a non-conference opponent that's not that great. Okay, these would be the wins with Jimmy Clausen quarterbacking that Carolina would be able to sneak in. So for me personally, I'm betting this game. I'm taking Carolina, probably take the points, but I could even understand a straight-up money line play here. I just don't understand at this point, other than the fact that you're swapping in a manager in Teddy Bridgewater into the offense. I mean, there's question marks for Carolina. Greg Olsen left. So, tight end is question mark. Linebackers are question mark with Kuechly going. They lost Bradbury in free agency. So there are question marks, but every team has question marks, okay? So right off the bat, I think they're overreacting to the holes they see in the Carolina team, and I'm going to step in and try to take advantage of it by betting the Panthers in week 1 at home against the Raiders. Thank you.
Ooh, that seems like a little homerish play, but that's okay. New coach, new quarterback. The Raiders, their expectations are starting to increase. They're at least being pegged for 500, but we'll see. All right, you're right. Not much a home field advantage, but Loule Diamond, take it away. Do you have anything interesting to add?
Well, I can't add too much more than what Tony did. I mean, that's his team, and he's got that game fairly laid out, but I got to kind of agree with him. I mean, the Raiders are just not a team that I want to back, especially as a road favorite. Are you kidding me? 17-36 against the spread as a favorite overall, 7-15 against the number on the road. So I can't see any reason to be laying the points with the Raiders here. I got to see the value in the Panthers. I like Bridgewater. I don't think he's that big of a difference between Cam, but there is. But I still think Bridgewater can manage this game very well as long as they can get McCaffrey, the ball, and he can, and they don't have him keyed. That's the big problem that the Panthers are gonna face this year, is the fact that they're looking for McCaffrey right now, and not much of an option. I mean, which is going to force Teddy to go out there and have to be a playmaker as well. So, but I still got to love Carolina getting the points at home, even though there's no home field
Wow,
advantage.
no Raiders love. Del Warfield, you have to be different here. You have to be feeling the Raiders, right? Las Vegas, maybe?
Well, since I am from Las Vegas, it only makes sense. But no, I'm not ready to back the Raiders at all yet. I still think it's a good team. I agree with Tony there. I mean, he's a Carolina guy. He knows his team. I definitely think that Bridgewater is going to be more so of like an Alex Smith type. You saw him last year with the Saints. He just kind of manages the game, doesn't turn the ball over very much, just hand the ball off, dump it down to McCaffrey, just kind of manage the game like that. I think taking the Raiders here as a road favorite is going to be really rough. Definitely agree here with Tony.
All right, guys, most interesting play of the day. Let's start with Tony. What is it?
Okay, guys, let's go to one I feel much better about. We're going to go back to the Cubs. We have Yu Darvish back on the mound today. In the last 7 Yu Darvish starts, the Cubs are a perfect 7-0. His ERA is under 1, and his WHIP is .8. So you're getting a pitcher that is dominating opposition from league to league. He's American League teams, National League teams. This guy's stifled hitters all over baseball. Right now, to me, he looks like the clear-cut choice for Cy Young if you compare his numbers to anybody else. So this guy is on a roll. The Cubs are doing decent. So you're backing a great pitcher in this spot, and you're getting it at $150-ish. I'm not a big chalk layer, but when the numbers stack up this heavy to one side where I can do the math and I'm getting a 65% chance in certain spots, then I'll lay the 150, which is 60%. That's the spot I like here today. Take the Cubs. I'm going to try to redeem myself. I think I will with this one, but let's see how it goes. I just wanted to mention, if you go to my website, thegreatwhitecapper.com, the service has been ranked #1 in NHL playoffs and units earned by a wide margin. I think second place is nearly half the units. So we've got that going. Don't mention it here on the show, but the hockey's also doing good for the service. Take the Cubs today. Most interesting play of the day. Thanks, Brad.
No, thank you. And the glasses do make you look a little bit more educated and smarter. Maybe that will give you better luck for today. We will go to the most interesting play of the day. Loule Diamond, take it away.
All right, today we're going to hit this game. It's a nice play. It went over yesterday and it lost, so it's in position for today. It's not a do theory. It's basically the series is expected to go under with Kansas City and Cleveland. They go under the first series. They go yesterday, and this definitely looks to be a nice addition for us to be under here today. Carrasco's me a little bit nervous. There's no doubt about that. But you got under teams and in a position where it could be a nice solid. We had it last night on the overnight at 8.5. You got to get it now because it's been bet down to as low as 7.5, but there's still plenty of 8s out there. I would recommend getting on the under Cleveland and Kansas City 8 right now.
Del Warfield, what is your most interesting play of the day?
All right, Brad, for our most interesting play today. Yesterday we had the Blue Jays that won. We're going back to the same game, Yankees versus Blue Jays, except we're going to be riding the total for this game. Yesterday it was a 1-2 game. Blue Jays won. I'm kind of doing a little zigzag theory. I think that yesterday the total going under. Today will be a good spot for the over. So you have Roark on the round for the Blue Jays, and he hasn't gone past five innings. He's given up 4 runs in those 5 innings every single game, his last 5 games. I see the Yankees getting runs here, and I expect the Blue Jays to win. So if you're expecting the Yankees to get 5 runs, expect 6 runs at least from the Blue Jays. Garcia for the Yankees, he's in and out of the alternate camp. Blue Jays are going to get their runs. Love this game going over. Yankees, Blue Jays over 10.5 for my most interesting play of the day.
And Del, you were a big winner yesterday. Where can we find you? Where can we locate you and get more information?
Yep, so you can definitely find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. It's going to be Warfield Elite. Just find me there, send me a message, and I'll get it right back to you.
All right, guys, thank you, Tony, Louie, and Dell. Coming up next, we have two new cappers, Ross and Chip. They'll be joining the show and picking some football and, of course, their most interesting play of the day. That is next on BettorCenter Live.
Brad Stein here live from Las Vegas. Join us daily for BettorCenter Live with our professional handicappers, where you get sports information you can bet on. Stop gambling, start winning. BettorCenter Live.
Welcome back to BettorCenter Live. You can watch this show on LouisDiamond.com. Also, check out YouTube at Louis Diamond. Now let's welcome our next three handicappers. We had one, but he's back. His name is Louis Diamond, Louis Bag of Diamonds. Welcome back. And, of course, we have Ross Benjamin and Chip Chirimbes.
How you doing, guys?
Hey, Brad. Morning, guys.
Never better. All right, let's do this. Let's go to game number one. We have some college football, UL Monroe at Army. Chip Chirimbes. What do you like and what do you don't like?
Well, I don't like this game. First off, Army, that big crushing win they had opening week, we're all aware of that. I guess there's a virus going around in Louisiana. It hasn't affected this team, but it did affect Tech. Their game was canceled against Baylor. Previously it's been said that once you see a team 1 week, they're never as good 1 week as they had looked, and the team's never as bad as they've looked the previous week. So my instinct would be to fade Army here. I really don't have much on this game. I haven't gone into it as of yet, and I'm going to wait for Saturday before I post any big winners.
All right, Ross. That would be you.
I agree with Chip. I do. I mean, when you look at this game, it opened at 15, and it's now up to 19, and overwhelming public betting on Army. Again, you're never as good as you looked the week before, and you're never as bad as you looked the week before. And, again, UL Monroe, it's had a week and all the offseason to look at Army's wishbone attack. I'm not ready to pull the plug on them. This is a team that went 1-5 on the road this year, or last year, excuse me. Army's been very good at home, but I just can't take and lay that many points on such a heavily bet team like Army is going to be this week. And again, Tony brought up a good thing, Tony G, on the perception versus reality concept, and that certainly is applicable in this game. Back to you, Brad.
Ross, you're breaking my heart. I was hoping that you would go against the Chippers and not agree with him, but you did. That's okay. Maybe you'll disagree on the Yankees game. You guys. I'm hoping you guys will fight about the Yankees, maybe. Two Yankee fans, like polar opposites, possibly, maybe. All right, Louis D. Anything else you can bring to the table?
Yeah, I'm going to bring a flip-flop. I watched this show. And I started out thinking I'm looking for a way to play Army because I'm thinking they're going to try to parlay the win. But after listening to these guys, they make sense. So now I got to, I'm probably going to stay away from the game, but I'm going to take a little bit of a deeper look because that does all make sense. More than likely the big blowout, they're probably going to be flat. But I don't know if Central Arkansas has what it's going to take. So, but anyways, good information the other guys have given us, and I'd like to point that out.
Always good information right here on BettorCenter Live. I'm Brad, and you can watch on BettorCenter and LouisDiamond.com. Also, check out YouTube at Louis Diamond. Game number 2, college football. Georgia Tech at Florida State. It's in Tallahassee. Chip Chirimbes, any thoughts?
Yeah.
Are you playing this game?
Well, Florida State enters this season with their third coach in 4 years, and they haven't had a winning record in the ACC in the last 3 years. So it's very difficult for me to want to take Florida State and lay points. Paul Johnson's been gone at Georgia Tech for a while, and their rushing game certainly suffered. Last year, they had a tremendous impact of feeling of his loss. I think this line's very high, and it makes me think that maybe the odds maker believes that the Seminoles are the much stronger club here. I would have a lean right now, but I don't think I'd post the side.
All right. Seems like most people think the line is pretty high. What are your thoughts, Ross?
Well, I got to correct my colleagues here. I don't like throwing people under the bus, but I want the listeners and viewers to be educated here. And Georgia Tech, Paul Johnson hasn't been the head coach for 2 years, by the way, guys. The coach now is Jeff Collins. They're transitioning to a pro-style offense, and transition being the key word. Now, they did run some option last year, only because they didn't want to overload. Most of the guys were Paul Johnson recruits, and they didn't want to overload these kids with information. Florida State, 17 returning starters, very good head coach now with Mike Norvell. Chip makes a good point. A lot of transition in the head coaching job there. But I'd have a small lean right now on the Seminoles because of their experience in the transition period that the Georgia Tech offense is going to be going through. So right at this particular moment in time, if you put the proverbial gun to my head, I would take Florida State minus 12.5.
I like that. Louis D., what do you think about the new assessment over here by Ross Benjamin?
Well, it's a very good assessment, but at the same time, you're still looking at a Florida State team that's supposed to be, a middle of the pack team, and the ACC laying a lot of points. And I still haven't changed my mind with the lean towards Georgia Tech, but there's no doubt Ross is making some very valid points. Once again, another reason why the show's good.
Let's move to the National Football League. In game number 4, the Raiders at the Panthers. We're a little early. You heard what happened in segment 1. The Raiders are the road dog here, or I'm sorry, the road team. Chip, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, my thoughts are, I have a comment about what has happened this past week in Las Vegas, according to the Raider media. They cut their number 3 draft pick, and everyone's making a big deal about it. And I'm trying to figure out why, because in the last 2 years in college, he played 2 different positions. He played split end, and he played quarterback. And this year, they're trying in the pros, first time ever, they're trying to make him be a backup running back to Josh Jacobs. That didn't work. They got rid of him. And the Raiders have been taking a lot of heat in the press for drafting this guy number 3. I don't understand it myself as to why you would take a player that's never played the position before and all of a sudden expect him to be a standout in the NFL when he played 2 different positions in the college. That being said, the Raiders are catching a lot of heavy action. They've gone to 3. Without Cam Newton, of course, Carolina's different, but they still have a great running back, and Bridgewater is there now. I can see the Panthers coming up and giving the Raiders a really tough time. The thing that I think Tony had mentioned earlier that we have to pay attention to is there really are no home teams here. There is no home crowd. It was very evident in the Navy game when they got shellacked by BYU. And I'm beginning to think that maybe that support that you get from the fans has more impact than we actually may think. And I think the odds makers are going to have to really adjust the numbers before the season's over.
Excellent assessment. Ross Benjamin, what are your thoughts? Raiders, Panthers, is it a home field advantage, or do you just have to wait a couple weeks until you're able to utilize that?
Well, if it is a home field advantage, the Raiders 5-21 in their last 26 on the road. 0-4 against the spread during that time if they were a favorite. So, and now you are asking the Raiders to cover as a favorite in a season opener. Having said that, this is a Carolina team that's in transition. Matt Rule, brand new head coach, brand new coaching staff, very limited offseason. I think we're going to see some growing pains with Carolina early. I'm not willing to take a risk on this game. This is one I'm going to sit, watch, and educate myself because this is a tough call to me. I can't lay the points on the road with a team that's 5-21 in their last 26 on the road, and I'm not willing to back the home underdog that went 5-11 a season ago, and I believe they lost their last 5. And now a new coaching staff, and like I said, COVID-19's really limited and handcuffed these head coaches as far as them being able to implement their new schemes to the nth degree. And I agree with Chip too. I mean, look, Lynn Bowden, the 3rd-round draft choice, they draft him number 3 and then they trade him to Miami for a number 4 or number 6. I can't remember. So, I mean, what sense does that make anyway? I have no opinion on this game at this particular moment in time. And I hopefully I didn't utterly confuse everybody with my analysis.
No, I don't think you did. Louis, after listening to Chip and Ross, do you have anything new to add or subtract?
Well, what I'd like to add about this game, we're talking a lot about the Raiders being a road favorite and the value of the home team, which has pretty much been eliminated this year. But what a lot of players don't realize is the value of the home favorite in the NFL has diminished drastically, it was a dramatic decline over the past decade. A lot of these newer stadiums that were built were wider apart. The fans were further from the field, and it took a lot of that momentum away. So that is something that was happening, but now it's almost official. There is no home field advantage with one exception, major one. The Raiders are traveling from the left coast all the way over to the East Coast, and they're playing 3 hours earlier. That's always been a very detrimental thing for the traveling team in the NFL. So watch for that for your home field advantage this year, the team that's coming in traveling left to right or right to left, but mostly left to right because you're going earlier.
That is an excellent point, and it's going to shed light to game number 5 because Seattle, who's got the most distance to travel, go to Atlanta right there in the southeast. So they're going from the northwest to the southeast. So we'll start with you, Louis D. You agree with
Once
the same
again,
thing?
yeah, same scenario. And Seattle has struggled going on the East Coast most of the time under Pete Carroll. So now they open the season at Atlanta, who is supposedly going to be a playoff team. Atlanta just hasn't has the consistency that I look for. The beginning of their seasons have usually been fairly weak, and then they capitalize too late in the end of the season. And that could be the case here. I think it's a tough game. The over has hit 7 of the last 9 times that these two teams have played. I don't. Seattle's defense is not going to be the big name anymore. It's pretty much going to be what is Russell Wilson going to do? At the end of the day, I'd rather have my money on Russell Wilson, in this matchup. So than Patrick Ryan.
Ross Benjamin, I'm hearing that the Atlanta Falcons might be the sleeper team of the NFC. I don't know if I'm buying it. Are you buying it, or do you believe what Loule Diamond said and trust Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll?
Well, it better be, because they've been stuck in mediocrity for the last 2 years, going 7-9 each season. And Dan Quinn held on to his job only because the Falcons, after starting, I believe, 2-9 last year, won their last 5 games to save is behind. To Louis' point, it's a good point when you go east to west or west to east. But Seattle's been an exception of late. 8-2 in their last 10 games on the road. And that includes 4 trips to the East Coast in which they went 4-0. One of them was at Atlanta last year when they beat them 27-20. But right. You know what? Season opener for Atlanta, I'm not willing to bet against them as a home underdog in their home opener. What I would be leaning toward, and I'll have to look a little deeper and have a more stronger opinion in the next couple of days, is I like to look at the total in this game, which is 49. I think this could be a high-scoring, entertaining affair. 2 really good quarterbacks in Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan, 2 teams that struggled for most of the year. Even though Seattle off team last year, guys, this isn't the Legion of Boom that we saw in past years. They won a lot of high-scoring games last year. So right now, my small lean would be on going over the total of 49.
Oh, Chip, what do you think?
Yes.
Over? I mean, this is an interesting play. We have no preseason, very little training camp. Do you like the over here?
I'm really not a totals guy, Brad, and I hadn't really even considered it. What is the price on this total? Do you have
49.
49.
I think that's kind of high, and it would make me think it would make me think about going over it being that high. Russell Wilson's certainly productive. The problem here is not so much the total; it's the fact that Seattle is 0-4 in their last 4 meetings against Atlanta, and that's straight up and against the points. And they're 0-4-1 in their last 5 openers. That being said, they have dominated play against the NFC. So there is a little backlash on both sides of these trends. This Atlanta team has not been the same since they blew that fourth quarter lead in the Super Bowl a few years back. And maybe time has healed the wounds. They're still remaining with the same coaches as Ross had said, and that's kind of surprising. But I would have a tendency to want to take the home team here, a home dog on an opening week. I would take right now, I have a lean on Atlanta.
All right, so we have some different opinions here. Really good. Chip, let's stay with you. Most interesting play of the day. I'm assuming you're going to in Major League Baseball.
You know, yes, usually when people have a bad day, they say they stubbed their toe. Well, I ran into a brick wall yesterday. I was 0-3 on the day, and that wasn't very good. But I do have a interesting play, and that here are the Mets, who are struggling against Baltimore, coming up $1.80 favorite with Porcello. I think the line is way out of whack. I don't quite get why it is so high for a team like the Mets, which is under 500. And I think that's drawing me toward laying it, even though I'm not a big heavy favorites guy. You asked for the most interesting play and not most likely my highest rated play. But I think the fact that the Mets are such a huge favorite makes it the most interesting play. And I would lay the price here.
All right, and how can we find more information about you? How can we follow you and get your advice? Because usually you win.
Thank you for that. Well, thank you for that, Brad. Yesterday was a disaster, as I said. So anybody that went to chipwins.com got waylaid. And that happened said, and nobody wins every day in this business. We're certainly aware of that. But it's certainly you get downtrodden when you get pounded the way I did. Scoring 1 run in 3 baseball games is not fun. But today, of course, we have the NBA's up there, ready to go, and I've got a big-time best bet winner for you. So log on, follow the buy links, and get your big-time winner from Chip Chirimbes at chipwins.com.
Hey, Ross, even Derek Jeter went through little ruts slumps where he struggled. Who's your most interesting play of the day?
I don't know about struggle. It was my first loss in 4 days, but if you continue. Yeah, but anyway. I did go 0-2 with my pay selections yesterday, so that was a struggle. Anyway, let's look at the Milwaukee Brewers and Detroit Tigers game. I'm going to be focusing on the total here. It opened at 8.5, down to 7.5, and I think for very good reason. Corbin Burns for the Milwaukee Brewers has been under the radar good this year. 5 starts at 1.75 ERA. He's not allowed a home run in 25 1/3 innings pitched this year. This is a Milwaukee team that when they go on the road and there's a total of 7 to 8.5, which usually means when it's that low in this designated hitter year, meaning both leagues using a designated hitter, that they're facing a pretty good quality pitcher. And they've gone 9-1 under the total in that situation. Again, 9-1 under the total on the road when the total is 7 to 8.5 this year for the Milwaukee Brewers. Matthew Boyd got off to a horrible start, guys, to the year, but over his last 3, he's found a lot of good corrections, and as a result, over that course of time, a 2.60 ERA and an 0.81 WHIP while striking out 20 and walking 1. I'm going to go under the total of 7.5 today with the Brewers and Tigers as my most interesting play of the day.
And that leaves Louis Bag of Diamonds for the most interesting play of the day. What is it?
All right, so you got my earlier one with Cleveland and Minnesota under. Now I'm going to give you a little parlay here today. So my second most interesting play of the day will be a 2-team parlay, and I look for the Oakland A's tonight as a $1.70 favorite to take care of Houston. Luzardo on the mound versus Garcia. I don't think Houston will have the bats for Luzardo tonight. I am going to tie them into the hockey game with the Tampa Bay Lightning. They have owned the Islanders fairly well, and I don't think it's going to change here again tonight. 13-4 versus the Islanders the last 17. I think that continues tonight. So I'm going with a 2-team parlay, Tampa Bay with the Oakland A's.
Thank you guys for your time and your great picks. Always appreciate it. We'll see you next time on BettorCenter Live for more great up-to-date information and picks from our 5 handicappers, Louis D, Tony G, Chip Dell, and Ross Benjamin. Thank you guys. Special thanks to Eugene, our producer and director. Don't forget to check out louisdiamond.com to watch the show. Also, YouTube at Louis Diamond. And remember, if you don't play, you can't win. So play right here, BettorCenter Live.